what it is. It is your boy VE to the double OE, and I'm back again with another deck profile. Yesterday I just went to a local, one of the locals in my state, and I ended up going 401 with the deck I've been piloting in so many different forms for the last month or so, just because it's been so fun, so crazy. If you can see by the top of the extra deck, you know it is Tier Orcust. So I did make some changes. There was a list that I played that had the Sprite engine in there and the Sacred Beast engine, and I did win an event with that. However, that engine really wasn't responsible. It was just the rest of the deck. So today's Spice actually contributed to me winning quite a few games. So let's get into the list. 2 Girsu. You never want 3. Most of the time you want to mill it, or you want to use Bombard and special summon it. 2 Nightmare. Never wanted more than 2. 2 Skeletons. Never need more than that. Bombard at 1 is fine. I've considered upping this up. There's so many times yesterday where and in like the past couple weeks, where I just really wanted to bump this card up to 2, but I'm a pussy and I just hadn't done it yet. But it's insane. Without the Orcust engine, a lot of the times this deck loses to everything that Tier loses to. It still loses to D-Shifter, but the opening board is stronger because you get to open up with an Omni Negate. 2 Gizmek, who's also the honorary Orcust. And then we'll get to and excuse my voice being crusty. Semi-pro football season started back, and so I'm coaching. So my voice is a little crusty today. Then the tier cards, you got 2 Rhino Hearts. I went up to 2 just because I found myself banishing the 1. And having access to Kaleido Heart is crazy. This card, even if Tier itself wasn't a deck, would be in this deck. Still, to me, the best. But we've increased the numbers. So Rhino Heart was at 2, but everybody else was at 3 in this list. And there's a very specific reason why. We'll get to that when I get to the Spice. We put Destrudo in here. I really just hadn't been playing it because I couldn't find my Destrudo. I couldn't find any of the commons, the OTS packs. It's just as an extender in this deck. But because I don't play any synchros in this list. So 1 Gokipo. I was just throwing stuff together. Gokipo could come out. You can do without Gokipo. Then Dangers. 3 Mothman. You don't really need 3. 3 Nessies. They're probably going to limit that back. Then a Bigfoot, a Choop, and a Jackalope. You could probably cut the Choop, to be honest. It didn't really help. It's just a name. A card is going to be banned in Snow. And then the Spice of the Albion. We'll get to that here in a minute. Then we got some draw cards. So we got 2 Desires and 1 Return. After playing the deck, Crescendo was crazy. I even considered putting 3 back into the deck just because it's so crucial to having that Omni Negate that banishes, gives you crazy. And then this is just climbing at Zeraboros with more attack points. 1 Call by, 1 Foolish. I only had a Platinum Rare Foolish on me yesterday, so that's what I played. Call by. I don't know why people think the card should be banned. The game itself is accelerated to the point where without cards like Call by in the format, there's nothing to do. It's not even closely comparable to Mystic Mine. I hear some people saying if you don't ban Call by and Mystic Mine, then you should just ban Call by. Mystic Mine is fine. That's stupid. We won't get into that though. Then we got the Void Breakers, 3 Dark Ruler, 2 Super Polys, because at the essence of this deck, it's not a purple deck, it's a blue deck. But 2 Super Polys is more than enough. I never found myself more than more. 2 Droplet, because you got to be Dweller. And then it helps you break boards and do other things. Then we played the 3 Fill Spell, Terraforming +2. I don't have a third one as of yet. Then we have Instant Fusion, which is just the FTK, and then basically 3 more copies of Instant Fusion. Branded in high spirits. So I was testing out the tier list, the tier Despia list with this card, and I didn't like it. And then I realized that playing it in a combo based deck is way better. And you're not playing any other branded spell, so you're only playing the 3. The first one is just so you can resolve the Albion to add the Albion and summon the Kit Kalos for free. And then the second one is just to send from. And then you play Desire, so you want to make sure you have 1 in rotation, so you can loop that Albion a second time if need be. But this is basically like having 4 instant fusions, and that's why the names were all maxed out. Besides Rhinoheart, because he's for some reason not an Aqua, he's a warrior. So this helps you accomplish the same thing as instant fusion would, where you can get your full combo without the normal summon. The only part about this card I hate is that they made the add back effect and the search effect once per turn, only one that turn. It would be insane if you could do this. But I guess. And then my personal spice, nobody's been on it. Reasoning. So there are every level, and you don't really care if they call it wrong, right? So if you send Girsu, that's fine. If you hit a tier, that's fine. That's a free fusion. But every time I activate the card, nobody got it right. You get some of your Gizmics for free. Sometimes like Dead Wands. Some people will call 2 just so you don't get the Merly Meal, which is fine. There's only like 3 level 2s in the deck, so thanks. They call 4 to try to keep you off Girsu, or like hope that you're on a bunch of Mothman, which I am, but I side out Mothman a lot of games. It could probably be something else. Maybe play one Mothman just for perpetuity's sake, but this card's actually insane. So like, unlike the other versions I was playing, they play like the Rocket Engine and the Punk Engine and the Sprite Engine. This deck is just how many things can I do without my normal summon that benefit me. So free summon and a search. This actually is like a +1, maybe even a +2, depends on what your hand is. If you know your opponent's on Shifter, you typically side these out. I was playing against Flunder game 1, and I opened the combo. He had Shifter, so I just scooped the game up. Because the way this deck is designed, I just can't beat Shifter pre-side. So, unless I open the 1 call by. Some people I see are like playing like Shifter and Cross out. I don't think that's very good. Because now you're just playing 2 Shifter, and you're playing a dead card. Shifter literally does nothing for this deck. So if you draw the Shifter, you don't want to use it, and if you have it for a cross out target and your opponent isn't playing Shifter, you just lose. That's just dumb to me. So I just didn't do that. Then only 5 traps. We played 3 Sulic and 2 Crescendo. Like I said, it could be like 3 and 2, because this card is insane. And then there's going to be some changes made in the extra deck, and we'll talk about it, because you see I'm not playing Babel. But the extra deck is 6 fusions, so 1 Kikalos, 1 Kaleido, Mud, Dracostopelia, which is debatable if it's even needed to play, Garura, and then you play the D3S Frog, because it has 2500 attack, and it's an Aqua. So it's for Brandon and High Spirits. So any tier plus Brandon and High Spirits equals Kit Kalos, which equals milling 8 cards. So there's that. And it's a lot easier to accomplish than Chaos Ruler, because Chaos Ruler was in this slot. But High Spirits is basically summoning Chaos Ruler. So there's that. And we know that this isn't going to get hit by the ban list. It'd be crazy. Then we played 1 Ding. 1 Time Thief. We could really do away with the Time Thief. It's not as important, and then it plays into Super Poly. I consider Dweller, but because I'm playing Orcust cards, I'm locking myself in. In the Lunalight build, this and Dweller are necessary. But it may stay in, it may go. I'm not 100% sure yet. Then we play one Sprite Elf, only one Galatea, because the extra deck space is so tight. One Dark, one Curious, one Bomber, one Zeroboros, and one Griffin. So this list is going to change as far as like the extra deck is concerned, because going first, I mean, this combo is always insane, but we're not playing the IP, and there were some times where I would rather just have had like IP Unicorn Access or Boral Sword or something like that, because the deck can do lethal if I fusion a lot. The deck can do lethal if I make Zeroboros. This is not, after turn 1, this isn't the greatest card. So you can, and I'm not main decking the viruses because I don't think I need to. I don't play a whole bunch of spells, a whole bunch of traps. So, I mean, I play spells, but I'm not super concerned if you like blow my spells out with Eradicator. They get hand knowledge, but you know, how do you play around Orcust cards without Dweller? So I can break any board still for the most part. So I've considered moving this card to the side and transitioning to a different list that makes IP Unicorn, Bomber, things like that. But that requires some major revisions I hadn't had time to think about yet. There's also a list that plays the Bomber Dragon, and then you cut down on like Draco Sepelia because you never really want to make it. It's literally there just to recycle your other fusions, so it's the least important fusion in there. And you can play a second Kit Kalos or other things like that, but you never really need those. But my list was pretty insane. Unfortunately, like I can't say like I just had dog fights the whole day. The first round I played against a kid just getting to the game. You know, he basically just didn't have all the cards he needed. So he was playing like Chumbar Turbo. So that was pretty easy. But then after that, after round 1, we started seeing some more powerful decks. I played against Sprite. I played against... I played Tier. I can't remember. No, I played against Flunderies. I played against Sprite. Somehow I ended up against an Adamantipator deck. He was undefeated. It was kind of wild, though. The list was kind of crazy, I'm not going to lie. He was missing some stuff because he was just throwing the deck together. And then my last round was against Eldritch, and that was my draw. Game 1 was like 30 minutes. Game 2, I eradicated him, had red reboot set. So, and then pushed for some damage. Time was called. I had more life points. So that ended in a draw. I got a Mega 10, pull the $30 Dark Magician Girl. I think I pulled an Ash out of another 10. So, the Orcust deck is insane. I know a lot of people focus on the tier parts because tier is so powerful in our format right now, but Orcust has always needed another engine to help facilitate it. Just because we hadn't had Harp in so many formats, and even with Harp now, we still need other engines to be able to continue to extend and play the game. So as long as you have an Orcust card online and the ability to have Crescendo, which is an Omni Negate, Sprite, when you summon your Sprite Elf and you place Galatea and you link it to Sprite Elf, it's untargetable by your opponent, indestructible by battle, as long as it's linked to the Sprite Elf, and then you can play cards that will protect the Sprite Elf. So if you go back to the Babel build, the Babel build would set up the Crescendo board you would set Crescendo back if you milled it off of Griffin, and then you would use Galatea to shuffle back set Babel, and then you'd have a live Nightmare, so that you can jump your elf all the way up to like 22 in the damage step. So it protects your Galatea, protects your elf, and then you still have the ability to play tier cards and other cards during your opponent's turn. So it's truly always our turn. But I really enjoyed the decks. But y'all can test it out. I probably have about 6 more different Orcust tier lists. I've won with everyone I've played so far, and it's largely because Crescendo is so powerful. Having your setup where you can deck Devi and then crescendo your opponent's follow up because you know what they have, so you just crescendo their best card. You can also like play a pointers in the main deck. That's your opponent's seed. That's some different stuff. But just off the back of a virus plus crescendo, you'll win any game because then you limit your opponent's interactions, especially Sprite. Your opponent's interactions are limited to one singular card that you can negate. So and then your initial board is super probably proof because it's usually Griffin, Galatea, Elf, and there's no super probably target that I can think of that deals with that. So it is pretty nice. And even if you like, and your opponent can kind of telegraph that you're doing it, but if you summon the Gizmek as the last thing you do and then they super poly in the draw phase, it's fine because once they make it, you can bring back Gizmek, still hit the virus. You can't do deck Devi, Eradicator, but you can deck Devi. Hit the virus. After you hit them with the virus, then you still can use Elf Effect, bring back Galatea, and then Crescendo's back online. So it's kind of insane. But I really enjoyed the deck, and I'm going to continue to enjoy Orcust. We need a ban list ASAP. So you'll see changes. Snow, Curious, they'll probably be banned again, I think. If they're not, then what is Konami doing? But even without those cards, this deck can function fine. Snow is just really good for surviving, but the rest of my deck is independently powerful of Snow and Curious. So anyway, you guys try the deck out. Tell me what you think. It's your boy VE to double E signing out.